You know that feeling? You're wearing all the hats. Maybe you're a freelancer running a small business or um, just trying to manage a massive personal project load solo.
Yeah,
You've got big picture goals that feel miles away. And, well, a million tiny steps needed to get there.
right.
You've tried everything planners, maybe even dip your toe into some software, but keeping it all straight just feels like a constant uphill battle against chaos.
That overwhelm is incredibly relatable. When you're the strategist, the doer, and the project manager all in one, things can feel like they're slipping through the cracks the moment you look away.
Exactly. And that struggle is exactly what we're diving into today. How do you manage your work, keep track of your goals, and, actually make progress, especially when it's just you or a tiny team?
Yeah, that's the core question.
We're doing a deep dive into project management and workflow tools and, well, whether you even need them sometimes.
And we've pulled together a really interesting stack of sources for this deep dive. We've got a conversation thread from an online community where someone wrestled with this exact problem,
Okay.
and a couple of articles that explore structured workflows and specific software options, including those for like a really common area like social media management.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great mix that gives us both the raw, practical frustrations and, some potential paths forward.
So our mission is to really unpack the core tension here. Simple methods versus dedicated tools. We want to figure out what a workflow actually is and why even a solo operator might need one,
Right.
and then look at concrete examples of tools. The goal is to help you figure out what might genuinely work best for your brain and your projects without just adding more complexity.
Because ultimately, this isn't about falling in love with a piece of software, is it?
No.
It's about finding systems that make your work more predictable, less stressful, and more effective, whether you're aiming for a big launch or just trying to hit your daily targets consistently.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with the root of the problem we saw laid out in that online community thread.
Yeah, that thread was fascinating.
Someone was asking about project management software for a one-man team, right? Feeling like everything out there was built for big companies needing to assign tasks to others.
Exactly. They felt completely overwhelmed, struggling to break down goals into steps, and like you said, traditional planners just weren't cutting it for them.
And the initial response to that cry for help was pretty blunt, wasn't it?
It really was.
Huh.
Essentially, maybe you don't need complex software at all. Just use a notepad.
Right. There was a real skepticism there, suggesting that using complex tools could actually be a form of procrastination, getting hyper-focused on the various tools, features, and prices than it is to actually get some solid work done.
Which is a fair point sometimes.
The advice was basically stick to the absolute basics.
Mm.
Your calendar, note-taking apps, maybe email.
It's a valid concern that shiny new tools can distract us from the actual work.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The original poster responded, explaining that this wasn't about procrastination for them. They shared that they have severe ADHD
Ah, okay.
and that time management and planning feel incredibly difficult because of their disability.
Wow, that immediately shifts the perspective, doesn't it?
Completely.
And another user, also with ADHD, jumped in with a really powerful counter-argument.
Absolutely. They said, flat out, that task management tools have saved me professionally, alone, or on teams.
Like them. Wow.
Yeah. They explained that for them, these tools are essential for visualizing tasks, understanding priority, and making the abstract concept of time passing feel, well, tangible.
Okay, so it's like an external structure.
Exactly. They provide the external structure and reminders that their internal system struggles with. They even wish they'd had tools like Trello or Asana back in high school, feeling it would have made things so much less confusing.
That's a powerful point. So we have this immediate tension, right?
Hmm.
On one side, the perspective that tools are overkill or even a distraction for simple solo work. And on the other, the experience that for certain brain types, particularly those with challenges like ADHD, structured tools aren't a luxury. They're like a fundamental necessity for making work possible and manageable.
It really reframes the conversation. It's not just about how complex your projects are. It might also be about how your brain naturally handles organization and, task initiation.
Right.
For some, a notepad works perfectly because their internal executive function handles the rest. For others, the notepad itself just becomes another place for things to get lost without visual cues, reminders, or a structured way to break things down.
It forces you to ask,
Yeah.
Is the tool adding unnecessary steps, or is it providing the necessary external support your brain needs to actually do the steps?
Precisely. And that leads us beautifully into what people did recommend when asked for practical solutions beyond just that initial notepad suggestion.
Right. If you do need some external structure, what did the community find helpful?
Well, a concept that popped up repeatedly was the Kanban board.
Ah, yes, Kanban, visual method.
Exactly. Several users mentioned it as effective for both teams and solo work. The classic columns, backlog, to-do, doing, review, waiting, completed, that kind of thing.
Seeing the flow.
Yes, visualizing the flow of work seems to be a core benefit for many who find traditional lists just, well, overwhelming. Tools like Microsoft Planner, Arch Kendor, and even Obsidian were mentioned as ways to implement this visual approach digitally.
It makes your progress feel real.
It makes it tangible, yeah.
Speaking of tools, certain software names came up again and again when people shared what worked for them as a solo operator or small team.
Yeah, definitely some clear favorites. Trello was a popular one,
Okay, Trello.
described as a great Swiss Army knife and perfect for a one-man operation. It's very visual, based on those Kanban boards we just mentioned, and has a useful free version.
Free is always good.
Always. While there might be limits on file sizes, users found workarounds like using Google Drive integrations. Its strength really seems to be that visual drag-and-drop simplicity.
And Asana also got a lot of love in that thread.
It did. Users said it was perfect for managing a lot, letting you create projects and subtasks and offering different views, like calendar or board views.
Different ways to see the work.
Exactly. And remember that user with ADHD, they specifically called Asana life-saving for prioritizing tasks because it helps make sense of everything visually. Plus, it integrates well with things like Gmail and Slack, so tasks can get captured easily.
Okay, good integration is key.
Okay.
What else? Monday.com?
Monday.com was suggested, yeah. They apparently have a free plan specifically designed for individuals looking to keep track of their work.
Oh, interesting.
And while it can do complex team stuff, users found its customizable workflows and visual interface. Kanban, Gantt, timeline views, useful even solo. It's powerful with automations and integrations.
Right.
But the paid tiers do have that minimum user requirement, which can be a bit of a barrier if you're strictly a one-person show.
Right, that makes sense. Then there was ClickUp.
ClickUp, another versatile option. One user mentioned just using it solo by ignoring the assignment features. Yeah, leveraging its hierarchies to break down macro goals into micro tasks, tracking start and dates, time, subtasks, milestones. It also offers templates, apparently, and there's a free personal plan mentioned, too.
And for those who maybe lean towards note-taking but want more structure, Obsidian came up.
Yeah, Obsidian's interesting. It's free, known for linking notes. But with plugins, you can add robust task and project management features, including Kanban boards. Lets you build your own custom system, essentially.
Flexible.
Very. And the user who suggested it also highlighted a really good strategy, mixing and matching tools, using Obsidian for flexible notes alongside maybe more structured tools for specific project tracking.
That's a key insight right there. You don't necessarily need one tool to rule them all.
Absolutely not. What other tools did they mention?
Let's see. HIVE was called amazing and free for a one-person show, praised for support and customization.
Okay, HIVE.
In Notion. Often seen as more of a database or wiki tool, but recommended for project management too. Simpler maybe for creating databases, timelines, boards for tracking tasks compared to some dedicated PM tools.
Notion's incredibly powerful. Definitely see how that could work.
And for those wanting to keep it really simple, mentions included tools like taskboard.com and ticktick.com, or just leveraging the native apps on your phone.
And let's not forget the ultra-pragmatic suggestion of just using Excel or a spreadsheet.
Ha, yes, good old spreadsheets.
And one interesting glimpse into the future was the idea of a paid PM tool using AI assistants to suggest tasks, estimate dates, and even review work.
Ooh, that's coming.
It probably is.
So what does this flurry of tool suggestions tell us? For solo work or small teams, there's clearly no single magic bullet.
No, definitely not. Tools designed for teams can often be adapted, but simpler visual methods like Kanban are also incredibly effective for many people.
It seems the right choice isn't about picking the most powerful tool, but the tool or method that addresses your specific challenges, whether that's needing visualization or automated reminders, or just a reliable place where tasks don't, disappear into the ether.
It really does come back to that core point from the community thread.
Yeah.
The tool has to serve a purpose for you. And that purpose might be overcoming genuine cognitive hurdles, not just adding a digital layer to something you could easily do on paper.
Okay, speaking of serving a purpose, let's shift gears a bit. From general task management to a very specific common area where workflow is absolutely crucial, even for individuals, content creation.
Yes, content.
The Plainable article we looked at really lays out the absolute necessity of having a defined content workflow.
It does, and it uses a great analogy. It describes a content workflow as the rails that keep your content train on track.
I like that.
It's the sequence of tasks or statuses that a piece of content goes through, from the initial idea all the way to being published and even analyzed afterwards. It includes roles, tools, assets, timelines, the whole shebang.
And the article argues convincingly that even if you're a one-person band wearing every single hat yourself, you desperately need one. Why?
Well, fundamentally, because it makes the whole process manageable and trackable. It helps clarify the different roles you're playing. You're the strategist this hour, the writer that hour, the editor later, the scheduler tomorrow, even if it's all you.
Right. Acknowledging those different hats is important.
Yeah, and seeing those different roles and stages helps you maintain a consistent publishing schedule, which is usually key for content success. It helps you identify where you get stuck, those internal blockers in your process.
Finds the bottlenecks.
Exactly. It optimizes your time because you can see exactly where the effort is going, and maybe most importantly, it helps you actually meet your content goals.
And the danger of not having one. The article was pretty clear on that, too.
Oh yeah, missed deadlines, scattered tasks that feel disconnected, inconsistent quality, because steps get skipped randomly.
Been there.
Wasted time reinventing the wheel or just searching for files, and ultimately your content strategy kind of fizzling out.
But it powerfully links having a defined workflow to the results you're trying to achieve.
Precisely. So how do you actually build one? The article breaks it down into 3 core components.
Yeah.
The process, the stages, the people, the roles, again, even if it's just you assigning yourself roles, and the tools, your tech stack.
Okay, so process, people, tools. How do you start?
You start by defining the different types of content you create, because obviously a video workflow is very different from a quick social media post or long-form blog article.
Makes sense.
Then you break down each type of content into specific tasks. For a blog post, like the example they used, that might be planning, keyword research, writing a brief, drafting, editing, finding visuals, maybe an internal review, even if it's just you looking with fresh eyes, publishing, and then analyzing the results later.
Got it. Step by step.
Then assign roles and responsibilities, even if you're assigning them to your strategist hat versus your writer hat. Setting realistic timelines is critical, acknowledging dependencies. Like, you can't edit the draft until the writing is actually done.
Obvious but easily forgotten.
Right. The article gives a helpful example, timeline breakdown for a blog post, showing how you might allocate, say, 1 day for the SEO brief, 2 days for the draft, etc.
Documentation is key too, I imagine. Write it down.
Absolutely. Write down your workflow, whether it's a simple checklist or mapped out in a tool. Automate what you can, maybe using tools for distribution or scheduling, which we'll touch on next.
Okay.
And finally, analyze and audit regularly. Your workflow isn't set in stone. It needs to evolve as your content and processes do.
Good point. And the article mentioned different types of workflows.
Yeah, 2 main types, task-based and status-based.
Task-based sounds. Well, like tasks.
It is. Each stage is a specific task, like conduct SEO research, then write brief, then write draft. It's super clear, very explicit, good for new processes or if you need that level of step-by-step guidance.
But maybe a bit rigid.
Can feel that way, yeah. The alternative is status-based, which focuses on broader stages like idea, in progress, in review, approved, published.
More flexible.
More flexible, works for lots of different content types. The downside is it might be less transparent on the specific tasks within each status unless you add checklists or notes.
So maybe a mix.
Exactly. The article suggests a hybrid approach, status-based overall, but with task checklists within each status is often the best of both worlds.
Okay. All of this really reinforces that having a defined path, even just for yourself, makes that journey from idea to done repeatable, less prone to errors, and just, well, much easier to manage.
Absolutely. And speaking of specific content workflows where tools are almost non-negotiable these days, let's talk about managing social media.
Oh, boy.
Which the Zapier article focused on.
Right. The social media landscape feels particularly overwhelming right now. So many platforms, constant changes, the rise of AI. Trying to manage it all manually is, a recipe for burnout.
Definitely. And dedicated social media management tools are designed to bring some sanity to that chaos. They let you control your presence, scheduling posts, engaging, analyzing performance, ideally all from one place.
Ideally.
Though it's important to remember their capabilities are often limited by what each social network allows via its technical connections, its APIs.
Good caveat. So when looking for one, what features should you prioritize, especially as a solo or small operation?
The article points to a few key things. Support for the specific networks you actually use, obviously.
Yeah.
Perishable scheduling features batching your work is a lifesaver. Detailed analytics to see what's actually working.
Crucial.
And importantly, cost effectiveness. AI assistants are common now, but their utility varies quite a bit tool to tool.
Okay, so what tools did they highlight?
They highlighted several, often pointing out their specific strengths. Buffer was noted as great for straightforward scheduling.
Buffer, yeah, heard of that.
And it's affordable if you only need to manage a few channels, thanks to its per-channel pricing. It even has a built-in link in bio service they called Start Page.
Okay. What about something more comprehensive?
Hootsuite was presented as that more fully featured all-in-one powerhouse, though it does come with a higher price tag.
Right.
It's strong for managing everything, including engagement directly in the platform, and has robust analytics, even offering competitor comparison in its higher tiers.
Okay. Anything for small teams that maybe need collaboration, but not the enterprise price?
Yes, Vista Social stood out for that.
Yeah.
The article suggested it's good for small teams needing collaboration features, but at a more accessible price point than some of the big enterprise tools. Offers team features, messaging, task management, and supports a really wide range of platforms, not just the usual suspects.
Interesting. Any unique features mentioned?
Loomly had a neat trick. It lets you create a custom social network connection via Zapier to post to almost any service, not just the standard ones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it also allows for completely separate calendars for different channels, which is handy if your strategies differ wildly between platforms.
Okay. What about visual stuff? Instagram, TikTok?
For that, Iconosquare was recommended, heavily focused on visual networks like Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, with strong features tailored specifically for those platforms, including scheduling various content types like Reels and Stories.
Makes sense to specialize. What about text-based, Twitter, Threads, that whole world?
For those navigating X, Threads, Mastodon, Bluesky, Typefully was highlighted. It's affordable, specifically focused on those text-based networks, apparently great for threading conversations, and offers analytics and automation features.
Okay. Any good all-rounders that are affordable?
Sendable was noted as a solid, affordable all-in-one that kind of nails the basics. Easy to use, includes useful integrations like Google Analytics.
Inflatable was mentioned too, right?
Yes. The Zapier article mentioned Planable itself among the less expensive options too. And as we discussed from the Planable article earlier, it's designed for managing a broader content calendar, not just social, with collaboration features that still matter if you're working with occasional clients or maybe just a single collaborator.
Gotcha. So the sheer number of options can feel overwhelming in itself.
It really can.
Yeah.
But the Zapier article's conclusion mirrors the earlier project management discussion. There is absolutely no single best tool.
Right. It's personal.
Intensely personal. The right one depends on your specific needs, the platforms you use, the scale of your content, your budget, all of it. Trying free trials is definitely the recommended path.
It brings it back to that core idea the tool is only valuable if it solves your problem.
Exactly. If your problem is consistent publishing across 6 platforms, a scheduling tool is essential. If your problem is losing track of tasks, maybe a visual board or a tool with reminders is key.
So looking back across all the sources we've touched on, we've traveled quite a journey. From the simple idea of just use a notepad when you're working alone, to seeing how structured approaches like Kanban boards can provide much-needed visualization, diving into the crucial steps of defining any kind of workflow, even for yourself.
Yeah.
And finally, examining specific tools designed to manage complex, repetitive tasks like social media content.
And what really crystallizes, I think, is that the debate between simple methods and complex tools isn't universal. While simplicity works fine for some,
Right.
for others, particularly those with specific challenges related to organization, memory, or executive function, maybe like the ADHD users mentioned, or those managing genuinely complex processes like content creation. Well, structured systems and appropriate tools aren't adding complexity. They're providing the scaffolding needed to function effectively.
That's a great way to put it, scaffolding. So whether you opt for a whiteboard Kanban board, or you just document a simple status-based workflow for yourself on a piece of paper, or you embrace a tool like Asana, Trello, Monday, or one of the social media managers we discussed.
Yeah.
The fundamental principle is implementing some kind of system that gives you visibility into your tasks, breaks down goals into manageable steps, sets timelines, and ensures nothing gets lost.
And crucially, as that community member warned way back at the beginning, the system or tool is always just a means to an end.
Right. Don't fall in love with the tool.
Exactly. The goal is the work itself, completed effectively and consistently. The tool should empower you to do the work, not become the work itself.
Okay, so given everything we've discussed today, here's something for you, the listener, to think about.
Yeah.
What's one small, concrete change you could make to how you manage your own tasks or content workflow this week? Could you maybe try mapping out a simple process you do often? Experiment with a visual method like Kanban, even just using sticky notes on a wall. Or perhaps finally download that free trial of a tool we mentioned that sounded like it might directly address one of your biggest pain points.